callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Experts show with local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Enjoy being educated in such topics as personal injury law, community association law, family law, bankruptcy law, along with health show topics like pain management, men's health, and dental implants. Now, sit back and enjoy today's Ask the Experts with host Steve-O.
And good evening. I'm Rhonda Hines, filling in for Steve-O, who is out on medical leave and will be joining us probably again soon after he heals. Tonight I'm excited because we have on with us the Simon Group. And the Simon Group is a wealth management company that is quite unique in that they are a mother and son team. And they're coming on tonight to tell us how we can increase our money. Dan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, Rhonda?
Okay, so Dan's not on yet. So Phyllis, you're joining us.
Dan's not
How
on.
are you doing? Well, you're saying, okay, he'll come on later. So tonight we're going to talk about.
He had another commitment at this hour, so if he can make it, then he'll be on.
Okay, well we'll join. He can join in as a if he's able to call in. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about your firm?
All right, our firm is a wealth management firm. We help people achieve their financial independence by having the proper tools to help them grow money, help them protect money, and protect their families, protect themselves, protect their assets, and try to help them also at many different times protecting their debt. In other words, like their mortgages and things like that are an asset base, but it still has some debt on it, especially when people get ready to retire. And what we do is we just help them achieve the goals that they want, what they want to do during the growing years, and then at retirement years, how to create the income that they need. And some people, everybody has different goals. Everybody wants something different. We do discuss a lot about Medicare. That's one of the things that people have to protect themselves, make sure they have good health insurance. They have to make sure they have something good, a good long-term care policy. Today's environment is just crazy because what's going on with COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and either people are, positive for the antibodies and the people are positive for COVID-19. So it's a very challenging time for us in this industry, along with the fact that people don't need to be reminded that their money matters, and it really does. So they don't want to be reminded that it matters. They want to make sure it's just growing, or they still have it.
Have you seen a spike in calls to your office as a result
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Rhonda.
Are you seeing a spike in calls to your office as a result of what's going on?
Calls to our office are being transferred over to our cell phones in my home because we're working out of our homes. We're not actually working in the offices because of the COVID problem, because it's just for a safety measure for the clients and for the agents, so the people, the financial advisors and things like that. My secretary works from her house. I work from my house. Dan works from his house. We have teleconferencing. We do WhatsApp to talk to clients. We do a lot of telephone calls where we discuss what's going on. We do our reviews with them over the phone, and sometimes they just want to see us that we're still around. So that means I got to put on makeup.
You got used to working at home,
and I have to look, decent. Otherwise, it's a very casual background for dealing with your clients in today's society. Just hope that this thing will eventually go away, but the way things are looking, it just seems like it's getting worse, and we gotta, just do what's right for the clients.
Right. Well, the good news is you are able to continue business as usual.
Yes,
Thank God we do have technology that allows us to still connect with our clients and people. So we are fortunate from that perspective.
yes, we are. We're very fortunate, and we're able to, help them achieve the financial independence. One of the biggest problems are people that are losing their jobs and have
Mm,
401ks that need to be rolled over. They should call us and talk to us, and we can tell them how we can have that grow. A lot of people, a lot of people are going to need the money to survive on if they don't go back to work. And a lot of those people in their later 40s and 50s don't want to have to use up that money. And so it
right.
comes to a very, very difficult time in dealing with this particular pandemic because it's different than any one we've known in the previous years. We've had pandemics, but they're not as large as what we have now. And now they're talking about different ways it circulates, and now they're talking about, you may not even be safe in your own home because the air in your own home circulates. So it's very challenging, but we do what we do best, and everybody has their um, problems, and we try to help them with their problems. Today, I wanted to touch up on a few things. Number one, on the Medicare side. Medicare is going to have some new things coming up in 2021. Those of you that are going to be 65 this year, there are certain Medicare and Medigap plans that you will not be able to get. You're going to have deductibles. They're going to be a little higher because that was all done some years back. So now 2021 is coming up. They're going to add teleconferencing so that a person, no matter what their illness is, can talk to their doctor on the internet, on a WhatsApp, if they're not going to the actual doctor's office. And
That's great.
especially people that have, different types of illnesses like diabetes, people that would normally go in every 3 months to get a checkup. Sometimes they may not need to go in every 3 months. So they could have their conversations with the doctor online, on their computers, on their telephones, and that will all be covered through the new Medicare Advantage plans coming up in 2021.
Well, that's great. I think
Enrollment doesn't start until October 15th to December 7th. That's just something that everybody needs to know about. It's a reminder. And the next thing is that individual health care, again, we have the open enrollment, and that starts, I believe, in November. So there's going to be a lot of different changes. Everything has been put in place yet. Nothing is concrete yet, but there are some things that will happen.
besides the teleconference being added, what else is changing with the plans overall? So just can you give us some
Well, we
general
don't
ideas?
know. They want to. Certain plans will have lower copays. Certain plans will have a little higher copays. Some plans, those are Medicare Advantage plans, Medigap policies, will have certain plans will have deductibles. They will cover certain things, and prescription drug plans are slightly changing. We're all going through the process of updating our continuing education now. This is July 1st. It opened up for most of the people that offer Medicare plans, Medigap, Medicare Advantage, where they're going through their learning process. Every summer they have to do this. They have to qualify every year through CMS. This is not a one-time you get your license and, you just go out and sell it, or you can offer it or whatever. You can't do that anymore. Every year you have to qualify for through CMS, and then you have each company, whatever they're putting out for the 2021 year. So every company is different, such as United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, Cigna, whoever you use. And so there will be some changes. It's just that the educated consumer talks to their advisor and discusses it with them. Just to remind you, if you have any questions, I just want to give out my number. It's area code 954-599-1950. I did
And what
also want
your
to touch on something that's very important, especially in today's time. There's been a very big change with the insurance companies when it comes to life insurance. There's also been a change in the companies that administer the blood testing for life insurance. And some companies are just going out of business because of the problems and that they can't afford to allow their employees to get sick. And some companies have a good handle on it. Those of you that are healthy between 50 and 60, and you don't have enough coverage for the rest of your life, now's the time. Because the companies out there are just making wonderful offers. Prices are going to start climbing, so you can lock yourself in nowadays. You can create a tremendous amount of extra dollars for your family if you want to leave a legacy. You can make your money be worth 10 times more than it is or 5 times more than it is. It's up to you what you want to leave or what you want to give. There are people in their 60s to 70s who can have a little harder time getting life insurance. And 70 and up, the companies are unless you're in great shape, it's going to be difficult. There are a few companies out there that will pick you up, but it's going to be a tough road ahead. Life
Phyllis, we're
insurance
going to take.
Pardon me?
Sorry to cut you off. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when you come back, let's delve a little more into that. And why don't you give folks your web address and where you're located? I think you guys have an office in Fort Lauderdale.
www.thesimongroupUSA.com, and the phone number is 954-599-1950.
We're going to continue with Phyllis Simon when we come back with Ask the Expert.
Hi, this is Steve O with the Ask the Experts radio show. At the Simon Group, their goal is to actively help families, individuals, and business owners build their financial freedom. They have the skills, knowledge, and experience required to help meet the client's established goals. They understand their clients want a comfortable retirement, but that means different things to different people. And there are other goals that they can emerge along the way, from planning for a child's education to planning for a managing income in retirement. That's why the Simon Group offers a range of financial strategies and solutions to help in every step of the way. They work with you to gain confidence and stay flexible and prepared for your financial future. The Simon Group serves their clients in estate and investment solutions, insurance protection, income, stocks and bonds, retirement investments, and insurance. Contact the Simon Group for a free financial planning appointment today at 954-599-1950. That's 954-599-1950.
And we are back with Phyllis Simon. Phyllis, where we left off before, as you were telling us, there's some really great deals on life insurance policies right now.
Well, there are some great ideas about doing things with life insurance. If you want to create a legacy for your family, you got grandchildren, you want to make sure that they have something, or your children, if they're in dire straits, if your children are in their 40s and 50s, and you're still very healthy, and you can get some life insurance, to buy some, because your children are the ones that are really going through the rough times now. And who knows what their careers are going to be like in 5 years, 10 years from now. So those of you that have the wherewithal to be able to do this, you can create a very nice legacy for your family. And then there are those that, want to build up money for themselves if they're in their 40s and they make a lot of money and they still are doing well, no matter what's going on in the economy today. and they have a lot of money that they need to put away. There are plans that they can put money away into that they only put it away for 20 years, and they can have a very nice nest egg for themselves. So there are a lot of different ways to go. Life insurance does help a lot of ways. And then we have, of course, investments that they do through annuities and mutual funds and stocks and bonds and things like that people are looking to build. But everybody that's lost their job, or if your children lost their jobs, and they need to roll over those 401ks, they should never, ever leave it with the company that they left, because a lot of these companies may not be there anymore. So it's a problem.
That's a good point. You're right. Here today, gone tomorrow is a possibility, isn't it?
Right. And another thing we need to discuss, which is very dear and dear to me, and I mean it with my heart, because I see what's going on out there. Last month, Steve and I spoke about long-term care. And I said something very interesting. If the parents, if the children, people tell me, oh, my children will take care of me. If their children are taking care of their children now, and their kids are home from school and home from camp because they can't really go away, okay, and they themselves have high anxiety, the parents, they can't seem to get a handle on taking care of their kids or keeping their kids occupied enough or keeping themselves occupied enough, do you honestly think they have the wherewithal that they're going to be able to take care of an 80 or 90-year-old parent? No way. When you're healthy, you buy long-term care. You buy it to protect your own assets and to prevent your children from having the high anxiety of having to take care of you and giving up their life because they won't be able to do it. And that's where it's very, very important. And right now, insurance companies are still offering it. Eventually, they won't be offering long-term care. I'm going to tell you.
Why is that?
Because more people are aging. And more people that are aging, the cost of aging is very high, taking care of people. You need more people taking care of people on a one-on-one. Even in an assisted living facility, it's a one-on-one. You're not talking about independent living. You're talking about assisted living. Okay? Yeah. And usually the people that need the help, you have forms of dementia, you have Alzheimer's. People can live for years with those conditions. You have people that develop conditions where they have incontinence. They can't do 2 activities of daily living on their own. They always need to be monitored, supervised. Nobody likes to touch up on that. They don't like to talk about it because it's a touchy subject. But
Are there any health conditions that prevent someone from being able to qualify for long-term care or for a life insurance policy? Are you automatically barred with certain conditions?
Well, to qualify for long-term care, the doctor just has to say that you cannot perform 2 activities of daily living. And it could be a temporary situation. You can have 2 broken legs, and they're in cast for the next 9 months to a year. So that will be something that will help people. People don't understand this, especially people that I've seen, elderly people, most older people, everybody's trying to protect their bones. They take medication to protect their bones. But what do most older people do? Fall. Mm-hmm. And they break something. And when they break something, they need somebody to take care of them. And somebody can have 2 broken legs. They can't take care of themselves. Long-term care will help them. Anybody that cannot do 2 activities of daily living for more than 90 days, any period of 90 days or longer, and you can't take care of yourself, your doctor writes that note. Trust me, that long-term care policy kicks in. And if they
I think I heard you say
take care of them, it's not going to happen.
I think I heard you say in 10 to 20 years, long-term care will not be around. What's the options after that?
In other words, the insurance companies, the people that have the policies, that'll be fine because all the insurance companies have to put money in reserve to cover the people that already purchased long-term care. So that money's put away in reserve. But 20 years from now, you're going to have a bigger population of aging people. The people that are 50 now will be 70 then, and the people that are 70 now will be 90. Remember, people are living longer. So you hear more 80s and 90s than you did 20 years ago. So when you hear about all these older people, and some of them are in great shape, knock wood, wonderful. But those that aren't, that end up living with their children, it's not a good thing. And people don't like to give up their independence. They want to have their own independence. They want to be able to do things on their own, but they can't. So at least if they have somebody that's staying in their home with them, helping them, so they don't have to go to an assisted living facility, if they love their home, then they could stay there. The insurance company is going to pay for that caretaker to take care of them.
And it is a lot to put on your children, particularly if they have children of their own. It's a stressor. It's a big stressor that most people can't be working full-time jobs and taking care of their parents full-time.
Well, there are a lot of people that are giving up their lives to take care of their parents full-time because the parents didn't do, and the parents were able to do it. They were able to afford it. When you hit your 50s is when you look at long-term care. If you're a single person, man or woman, and you're 50 years of age, and you know you're not going to have kids, and you know you're not getting married, or maybe you'll have a significant other that you live with, trust me, the significant other is going to run as fast as lightning if anything terrible happens to you. You know, they commit to a degree, but they're not going to give up their life. So if you're single, you need to get long-term care. If you're married and you're fortunate enough to have some great kids, and the kids are, my children are very wealthy, they're very rich, I don't have to worry about anything, they're going to take care of me. Good luck with that philosophy, because it doesn't always work that way. Because they still have their lives. And the only reason why they're very rich is because they're working to have that money. So people have to use some common sense when it comes to long-term care. And that is why I advocate on it. I bought it myself when I was very young. And the only reason why I did was for the fear that if anything ever happened to me, that I would have to depend on my children now. My children are great. I love them. But I didn't want to be a burden to them. Why?
Well, and then you've got your own guarantee this way as well. Mm-hmm. It's a nice backup plan. If they do decide to take care of you, at least you have your backup plan, right?
Always.
So what about for folks who want to, maybe older folks who want to help their children who've lost their jobs now? What kind of options are they looking at?
There are a lot of different things that parents can do. They can, parents and grandparents, if they want to help their kids now and they have young children or grandchildren, they could put away money for a college plan. Okay, they have the 529 plans where they can put money away. They can invest for them. They can also open up if a kid is their children are working, or they could do. If they're not making over a certain amount of money, they could put away money in Roth IRAs for them. But everything has a limitation on income. But they can make investments. They could, if they're not insured, they can buy insurance policy that'll double, well, maybe 5 to 10 times more than what, they have an asset that they could create a tax-free asset to the children and grandchildren. You can create that kind of a legacy. If you're not insurable, investments. We have wonderful investments that we offer to clients that have potential for growth. We're not looking at trying to make $1 million overnight. We don't do that. We go with the goals of the client, the risks of the client, and it seems to work out very, very well. And, of course, I'm very honest with the client. My son and I, or Dan and I, are just tell them like it is. I can't be wishy-washy about anything, and I won't be. I'm just, this is the way it is. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, then don't. If
I'm
you're
sure
honest
people
with your
appreciate the
clients,
straightforward
they
approach.
respect what you have to say. They listen.
Well, Phyllis, give folks your contact information again before we take a quick commercial break.
Okay. Let me give my phone number again. It's 954-599-1950. The website is thesimongroupUSA.com. It's something everybody should look up and give us a call.
When we come back, Phyllis, I'd like to talk a little bit about, maybe you could talk about the pros and cons of a 529 plan versus a Florida prepay.
Okay.
For our listeners out there.
Great
Okay,
idea.
we're going to come back after the short commercial break.
Hi, this is Steve O with the Ask the Experts radio show. At the Simon Group, their goal is to actively help families, individuals, and business owners build their financial freedom. They have the skills, knowledge, and experience required to help meet the client's established goals. They understand their clients want a comfortable retirement, but that means different things to different people. And there are other goals that they can emerge along the way, from planning for a child's education to planning for a managing income in retirement. That's why the Simon Group offers a range of financial strategies and solutions to help in every step of the way. They work with you to gain confidence and stay flexible and prepared for your financial future. The Simon Group serves their clients in estate and investment solutions, insurance protection, income, stocks and bonds, retirement investments, and insurance. Contact the Simon Group for a free financial planning appointment today at 954-599-1950. That's 954-599-1950. You are listening to the Ask the Experts show with host Steve-O. We will be right back with more experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Join us every Thursday from 6 p.m. Now, get ready for more Ask the Experts.
And welcome back. We are speaking with Phyllis Simon, our financial expert from the Simon Group. Phyllis, when we left off, we were going to talk about the difference, the pros and the cons of a 529 plan and the Florida prepay. Can you speak a little bit about that for folks?
Yeah, sure. The Florida prepaid plan is a great plan for grandparents or parents to put away money for their grandchildren. As far as the pros on it, children or grandchildren and parents can pay monthly. Grandparents can give a lump sum of money to cover all of the 4 years of school, depending on, and they can do it as a gifting. The grandparents could do it as a gifting. They're allowed to give so much money a year away to each grandchild. They could do a lump sum and pay for the kid's education in one lump sum. Parents can pay for it. Now, there are different types of 529 plans. I favor the state 529 plans. And like in Florida, I think that the Florida prepaid plan is a very good plan. I don't make money on that. I don't sell the Florida prepaid plan. That goes through the state of Florida. But I find it to be an ideal plan because it's not that costly. And if people start early, when the kids are 1, 2, or 3, and the grandparents even, they can buy a $200,000 education for $27,000 in a lump sum or over a period of so many years that they pay it out. And it's a guaranteed plan only if, the child is college material. The other benefit of it is if the child is not college material, they can use it for a trade college. But, of course, when I tell people that, they say, oh, my kid is not going to trade school. Everybody says the same thing. They're going to college. But it can be used for a young man that wants to be an electrician, a plumber, or whatever. They go to a trade college, okay? So that it can be used for. It can also be transferred to another beneficiary, meaning the other grandchild or the other child, if the child that it was named for can't go. It could also be used for, Mommy wants to go back to school. Grandpa wants
Oh.
to go back to school. It could be transferred back to those people. So that is if the beneficiary doesn't go away to school. That's number one. The bad parts of it is that if you do a 529 plan just tied to regular mutual funds, there's a limit on what you can put in every year. And it's really not enough money to grow for a 4-year education unless you're making 12 to 15% a year guaranteed for the next 15 years. So it has a limitation. A lot of states have 529 plans through their mutual funds. The investments are invested in a very aggressive portfolio while the child is very young. And as they start to hit middle school, it starts to tend to slowly become a little bit more moderate. And then when they get to just at the beginning base of high school, it becomes a conservative investment, so there will be money there for the kid. But it never usually makes enough money to cover the 4 years unless the grandparent dropped in $250,000 in one lump sum, and the kid is 2 years old and invested it, and it grew to $1 million maybe if we're lucky over 18 years, which probably won't happen. So it'll be worth $500,000 over 18 years. But 529 plans, the pros are that the state-mandated ones are excellent. The individual 529s, and a lot of brokers out there are going to hate me for saying it, but it's the truth. There's a limit on what you can put in it. They have these education plans where they limited you to $500 a year. Well, I mean, what is that going to do for a kid, for an education plan? I mean, it's dumb. So my feeling is that parents, if they buy a prepaid plan for the state that they live in that has a good deal to cover college and tuition and dorm, or most kids don't stay in the dorm anyway. So they usually got to rent an apartment, and they have to have a meal program for the kids. College is an expensive deal. Okay, sometimes you can get away with it. If you're a resident in a state like Florida, you can get away with something as you have a kid going to a 2-year college, a 4-year college, that it could cost anywhere between $100 a matriculating hour. That means kids need to do 12 to 15 credits for 4 years. They need 120 credits to graduate. So that means every quarter, every 6 months, they have to do a certain amount of credits to be able to graduate on time. It's very costly. But parents feel that if their kids have a good solid college education, that maybe they have a chance in the workplace with a company that has a pension plan and has all these things. Personally, I think that each kid should figure out, or each parent should figure out what's in the best interest of their kid. It's what the kid has talents are. And then at that point, that child can become an engineer, to be maybe he's a writer. Maybe he wants to go to college to learn all about, the philosophy of writing. People do that. And then you have those kids that like to stay in school forever.
I'd like to clarify something that you said earlier. Did I hear you correctly in saying that with the 529 plan, the one that's not state affiliated, you're limited to the yearly contribution that you can make?
In the 529 plan, you are in the state. In other words, in a regular mutual fund. Okay, there's usually a limit on what you can put in it. Okay, in the state, like the state of Florida, you have a payment plan. You could do a lump sum. You can pay it over 5 years. You can pay it over 10 years. It just depends on the age. Each plan is different. Each state is different also. Okay, and each mutual fund 529 plan is different. So depending on which company you go to, thus far, I'm doing this for 33 years. When the 529 plans came in, I think maybe 25 years ago, I have yet to see one 529 mutual fund plan pan out the amount of money that their parents thought that they were going to get, that they were devastated because it didn't come out to that amount. And they all said the same thing. Why didn't I just go into the Florida prepaid plan? Back then it would have cost them $5,000 and the kid's education was paid for 4 years. Because people sell things that are not in the best interest of the client. And now I say, listen, this is going to work better for you. If you want to believe what I'm going to say to you, state program will be best. You send your kid to a state school. Now, those that have a lot of money will always send their kid to a private college because they have the money and they can afford $100,000 a year for the kid's education. And today, young people that are trying to become doctors and dentists and attorneys, let me tell you something, not too many of them are going into the medical field now. Not too many of them are going into that field only because of what's going on in the world today. And there's also with the problems with getting paid from the insurance companies, from the government. So becoming a doctor today is not as glamorous as it was 30 years ago.
Right.
Attorneys, they're a dime a dozen. All these different fields, they got to look at what the real field is available for the future. Which way is the future generations going to go? What kind of businesses are we going to have out there? And that's what research and education is going to help the parents and the grandparents and the kid. And the 529 plans, as far as I'm concerned, I believe in the state plan. And trust me, I don't think my son is going to be happy to hear that I said that. But that's the way.
But you're being honest. Yeah,
you know?
with the Florida prepay, if you commit to spending $300 a month on the Florida prepay, let's say you can't make the payments a couple of months, like some folks who maybe are unemployed right now,
well,
they can later just make up that amount.
They'll give you back all the money that you paid in if you can't afford to pay it anymore. They'll give you back your money. So if you paid in $10,000 and you can't afford to pay anymore, they'll give you back money.
Are they able to halt paying? Let's say people are unemployed for 2 or 3 months. Can they stop paying for those 2 to 3 months and then get caught up again? Well, I'm saying for individuals who maybe they're unemployed for a period of 3 to 4 months, and let's say they can't afford to make a payment
I don't
right
know
now.
what the prepaid plan and for the state of Florida will tell them. In a 529 plan, they could stop making payments easily. They just stop the automatic drafts that are going into the account if they're paying it out that way, or if they make a contribution once a year. They don't have to worry about it, okay? But in the state of Florida prepaid plan, they may have, most of these plans, they have special programs for parents that might lose their job for 4 to 6 months, parents that become disabled, okay, and they may have programs to add to it, but that has to be, spoken. You have to speak to the people at Florida prepaid plan. One thing that I don't like about the Florida prepaid plan, it does not have open enrollment year-round. Open enrollment doesn't start until February. So, so that's where the problem is. Okay, so it's as far as I'm concerned, open enrollment should be year-round, but they only have it starting in February, and they have it open for a few months. They have it from February to May, okay? And that's when they stop. May 31st, the last day, I believe they open it up February 1st. So you only have those 3 months to be able to make the contribution into it or set up the plan, and then you can take the money out of your bank account every month, or grandparents can make big contribution. A parent that have the money can make that, contribution. They can pay it over 5 years. So
So it's very limited.
Plans work very well for the children by the time they get to school.
Phyllis, we're going to take a short commercial break. Can you give folks your information again?
Yes, I'll give you the phone number. It's area code 954-599-1950. SimonGroupUSA.com. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, and maybe when we come back, we can talk about how we can make our money grow, particularly during these times. So I think you had some tips and some tricks that you could share with us. I said when we come back from commercial break, maybe you can share some tips and tricks for how to make our money grow during these times.
Not a problem.
Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back with Ask the Expert.
Hi, this is Steve O with the Ask the Experts radio show. At the Simon Group, their goal is to actively help families, individuals, and business owners build their financial freedom. They have the skills, knowledge, and experience required to help meet the client's established goals. They understand their clients want a comfortable retirement, but that means different things to different people. And there are other goals that they can emerge along the way, from planning for a child's education to planning for a managing income in retirement. That's why the Simon Group offers a range of financial strategies and solutions to help in every step of the way. They work with you to gain confidence and stay flexible and prepared for your financial future. The Simon Group serves their clients in estate and investment solutions, insurance protection, income, stocks and bonds, retirement investments, and insurance. Contact the Simon Group for a free financial planning appointment today at 954-599-1950. That's 954-599-1950.
And we are back with Phyllis Simon from the Simon Group. Phyllis, the age-old question today is, how can I make a lot of money and how can I make it fast? Do you have any tips or tricks for that?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, that's number one. And how I can make it fast, well, that's a very hard question. So we're going to talk about how to grow your money, but you can't make it fast. If we were making 18% today in the world like we were in 1980, then yes, I can make your money can grow very, very fast, double itself every 3 years, and you'll have a lot of money. But when the reality of the real world is 3% on fixed products, bank accounts are below 1%, CDs are very low, everything is very low. So if you do constant investing while you're in your growing years, there's an old expression called the magic of compound interest. If you just keep investing, okay, and especially today, equities always outperform interest rates. So if you just keep putting money in on that's what made 401k so popular. Is you're putting money in on a religious, monthly, annually, whichever way, but you just keep putting money away and you don't deviate from what you're doing, you will have a lot of money by the time you're ready to retire. Now, I'm not talking about putting $25 a week away. That's not going to work. Back 30 years ago, I remember competition, they would tell clients, oh, if you buy this and you put away $25 a month away or $50 a month away, by the time you're 65, you'll have $1 million. That's not true. I mean, you could do the magic compound interest. You can invest. You can say, if I got 8% every single year on $50, you're never going to make it to $1 million over 30 years. But that's the concept that they sold back then. You can't do that. People are smarter today. You can't do those kind of things. So you say to people, look, saving is the most important thing. There's two ways you can save, on a tax-deferred basis or on a tax-free basis, meaning that your money's not taxable. So in a 401k or an IRA If you own your own business, you can have a SEP IRA, you can have simple IRAs, whatever type of savings you can do where you can write it off your tax return, then you will have enough money growing as long as you stay consistent. Now, one of the funniest things we used to say, it's not funny, but it's true. Everybody that goes to work, you go to work and you pay your bills, right? Am I right, Rhonda?
That's a yes. That's a
You go to work
yes.
and you pay your bills. Okay. And then you usually use the money that's left over at the end of the month for yourself, but there's nothing there. Am I right?
That's true too.
Okay. So how about paying yourself first? Now, there are different ways you can do it. You can invest in different investments like mutual funds, savings accounts, CDs. There are different ways you can invest money. Okay? So how to make money fast, there's no quick answer to that. Unless you're very fortunate, you found a stock and all of a sudden it went from $1 a share to $1 million a share overnight. But that doesn't happen. Maybe you hear about
That's
these
rare.
stories that happen, but it doesn't really happen. So if it's a constant, you just got to, like an old, we used to say dollar cost averaging, you're just constantly putting money away. Now, short-term savings goes in a savings account in the bank because you need to get a new car, you got to put a down payment on a car, or you're going to buy a house and you want to get a house within 2-3 years and you don't want any risk to the money. But long-term savings, if you're constant, so if anybody that makes whatever you make, you put 10% of that money away every month.
Mm-hmm.
So annually you have, in other words, your annual income, whatever it is, if you could put away 10% a year of your annual income. Now, there are some religious organizations that take 10% from their, congregants. They give 10% away to the parish or the church or the synagogue or whatever. How about giving
So you're saying pay yourself
first, and then pay all your bills afterward? Trust me, you'll have the money for all your bills, but pay yourself first, and it could be in the form of investments. It could be if you're difficult and you know that you'll go to the investments and pull the money out, then you do it in the form of life insurance because it's the last thing you're going to want to touch if it has cash value in it because it's a protection product for your family. But it also builds money in it. So you can do it that way. I don't recommend that's the only way to do it, but it just depends on each person's circumstance. So,
this reminds me of a financial seminar I'd attended when I was in my 20s. And
I'm sorry?
What he had you do was you basically spent, 50% of your money was for necessity, covering your bills. And then the other half went into savings, but you put it in buckets like, 10% for your investments, 10% for your play account, money toward, giving, if you were giving to religious or to, buying friends gifts, whatever. And I tell you, I grew my money that way.
Absolutely.
At first it was really hard because
were you one of those people that made $100,000 a year after taxes? You had $75,000 and your mortgage cost you $40,000 to $50,000? I mean,
no, because back then I didn't have a mortgage.
In today's world, people pay very high mortgages. I mean, we were just having this conversation the other day, and the difference of the value of $1, $200 is 50, 60 years ago was a lot of money. Today, $200, if you're lucky, you could get maybe 2 good pair of designer jeans, maybe, if you're lucky, on sale. Come on.
Well, remember years ago when people said, "Oh, I want to have $1 million,"
$100,000 or $200,000, but those that do, they have to be smart. Number one is everybody wants the fancy car, everybody wants the fancy house because everybody has to keep up with the Joneses. Now, I have clients that have more money, and I say, "How in the world did you build up this money?" And I see the house that they live in, and now I know. When I would go to visit them, and then I would realize that these people did not go out and spend money on stupid things. They saved for their retirement. They lived in a modest house. They had modest cars. And yes, they were able to go away on vacations every year. But they didn't spoil themselves with the stupid stuff that a lot of people do. These people waste money. So those are people that we would call frugal. But for them, it was perfect. So they end up with a few $1 million when they're in their 60s. Now they can travel the world the way they wanted to and leave their children and their grandchildren something. So how to grow money fast is be consistent. Keep investing, okay? Eventually, maybe after 10, 15 years, you'll see a very, very nice return on your money. That's if you're young. If you're older, you have some growth, but you may need income. So if you have money growing and creating an income, that's good for you because you're keeping pace with inflation. But there's
So in your
no
20s,
magic trick that I'm going to make the money really fast. And today, you know, the old saying was back in the days when we did financial planning, and well, still do, but I'm saying we used to say, okay, a person made X amount of money, no more than 25% of their income. No more than 25% of their salary should be for their mortgage or their rent.
right, makes sense.
That's how people are able to save money. Today, it's 50% of the income pays the rent. And that's not a
Let
good
me ask you, is your 20s and 30s when you take more of a severe risk, and then 40s, 50s, you're more moderate? And then, of course, as you start hitting your 60s, you're lessening your risk?
Different ages is right. When you're young, you be aggressive. Even to your mid-40s. And you move to a little bit very slowly, though, to moderate. But I would stay aggressive until about 50. Then moderate, and then conservative when you're in your later 60s. And you'll have a conservative, moderate portfolio. It should never be 100% conservative unless you're 95 years old. Because you still have opportunities for growth. You just don't go into the type of investment that can become very aggressive, even though it's supposed to be a moderate investment. So what you do is you balance, and through asset allocation, and that's what we do. And we sit down with the client. Every client's different. We give every client the opportunity to tell us what their goals are, what they want to achieve. I'm there to help them. They have a problem. I want to help them with that problem.
Give folks your contact information, Phyllis, because we're going to be. Give folks your contact information again, because we're running close to the end of the show here, but I want to make sure people know how to contact you again.
Yes, absolutely. Please feel free to call Dan Simon or Phyllis Simon, area code 954-599-1950. Again, 954-599-1950. And the website is thesimonGroupUSA.com. And we'd love to hear from you. No question is stupid. No amount of money is too small, and no amount of money is ever too much. We try to help everybody. We try to help everybody that we can.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. We've enjoyed speaking with you tonight. And that wraps it up for Ask the Experts. Join us again this Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the Ask the Expert Show, featuring interviews with local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Call our office at 888-574-6999 to become one of our experts on the show. And tune in again next week for more Ask the Experts with Steve-O.